British sci-fi has its own kind of magic, and these films prove you don't need Hollywood to make something extraordinary. If you ever wondered what would happen if you gave Terry Gilliam a big studio budget, Brazil is the answer. It's one of the most creative and chaotic sci-fi films ever made. Jonathan Pryce plays Sam, a low-level bureaucrat stuck in a maze of paperwork and malfunctioning machines. After a simple printing error, he's pulled into a nightmare of red tape, paranoia, and strange dreams about a mysterious woman. Brazil is dark, absurd, and visually stunning, a mix of Orwell, Kafka, and pure Gilliam madness. It's a world of gray walls and tangled wires, where the future looks more like a broken version of the past. Bleak, yes, but also funny, clever, and full of incredible practical effects. Often called the best post-apocalyptic horror movie ever made, Threads was released in 1984 and depicts the struggles of ordinary people trying to survive in a devastated Sheffield. After nuclear attacks leave half of the UK's population instantly dead and millions more suffering from fatal radiation poisoning, the world as they know it is gone. Forced to live in squalor and fear of both the military and fellow survivors, the characters face horrors they could never have imagined. There are no heroes, no last-minute rescues, and no hope for redemption. It's gritty, horrifying, and unrelenting, a film that forces viewers to confront the absolute worst of humanity when civilization collapses. A year earlier, American audiences had seen The Day After, a film with a similar theme. But Threads was far bleaker, a film so grim and realistic that it made The Day After look almost comforting. No list of British movies would be complete without mentioning Hammer Films. They produced plenty of classics, but one that absolutely deserves a place here is Quatermass and The Pit. Originally created as a 6-part BBC serial, it follows Professor Bernard Quatermass, a pioneer of the UK's space program who constantly finds himself facing strange alien forces. In this story, those forces reveal a shocking truth about how mankind evolved on Earth, an idea that still holds up remarkably well, especially for a 1967 film made on a modest budget and without major stars. The cast includes Hammer regulars Barbara Shelley and Duncan Lamont, along with Julian Glover as a pompous colonel. It's literate, intelligent, and still gripping, the best screen version of Nigel Neal's work and one of Hammer's finest achievements. You've probably seen the image before. Pale, glowing-eyed children staring straight through you. Most people think of John Carpenter's remake, but the 1960 original deserves just as much attention. The story begins when a strange, supernatural force descends on the quiet village of Midwich. Afterward, every woman in town discovers she's pregnant and soon gives birth to children with white blonde hair, piercing eyes, and telepathic powers. They share a collective mind and one terrifying goal. Part of what makes the film so disturbing is that it never explains why it happens. Like the villagers, we're left in the dark. Its black and white look, the eerily polite children, and their calm, alien behavior only make it creepier. Sometimes a film stays relevant even after more than 70 years. And The Man in the White Suit is one of them. Its science fiction ideas aren't flashy, but its sharp political satire and absurd premise make it a timeless watch. The story follows Sidney Stratton, played by Alec Guinness, a brilliant but awkward chemist who creates a revolutionary fabric that never gets dirty and never wears out. Instead of being celebrated, he quickly becomes everyone's enemy, as both his employers and the unions realize his invention could destroy their business. There's a wonderful irony in its lighthearted tone, a story about idealism colliding with greed as the perfect suit turns out to be a curse. Guinness is endlessly charming, and the film's mix of humor, social commentary, and early sci-fi style still feels surprisingly fresh today. Now let's move to the not-so-distant past. Frequencies, also known as OXV The Manual, is a 2013 independent British science fiction film that blends romance and thriller. But if romantic stories aren't your thing, don't skip ahead. This one's different. It uses a scientific idea to give new meaning to the concept of lovers destined to be apart. The story takes place in a world where every person emits a specific frequency that determines their luck and social status. Your life is defined by whether your frequency is high or low. But one young man refuses to accept his fate and tries to raise his own frequency to be with a high-status girl he truly loves. It raises fascinating questions about how labeling people can shape their behavior and steer their lives in ways they might never choose, making it a profound and emotional film. AI has been done 1,000 times in sci-fi, but Archive stands out, a quiet, emotional story about love, loss, and what happens when technology crosses the line. The film follows George Elmore, a scientist working in isolation who uses his research to build a human-like AI in the hope of bringing his late wife back to life. But, as always, playing God comes with consequences. Visually, Archive balances beautifully between minimal and ambitious. The small-scale setting and striking robot designs make it feel both futuristic and intimate. The AI itself is remarkable, growing more human with every upgrade, yet never escaping the emptiness of what she truly is. Released in 2020, the film never reached the audience it deserved, but it remains one of the most thoughtful and underrated sci-fi films of the decade. In 2007, British director Danny Boyle took his first step into science fiction with Sunshine, a tense and visually stunning film about a team of astronauts sent on a mission to reignite the dying sun. The science may be shaky, even with physicist Brian Cox advising on the project, but the film's strength lies in its atmosphere and human drama. It features a phenomenal ensemble cast, a monumental score by John Murphy and the electronic band Underworld, and a haunting sense of isolation that never lets up. Beneath the surface, Sunshine offers a poignant look at faith, God, and humanity's obsession with creation and destruction. Bombing at the box office with an $8 million loss, many audiences missed it on release. So if you're hearing about it for the first time, it's absolutely worth watching.